Okay, welcome back everybody to today's coding session. And if you're just opening this video and wondering what the heck it is that you're looking at, I'm here just sharing my daily coding session with you guys. I've been doing it for, I think, almost half a year already. I've been on a journey for the past about 3 years to learn how to code. I started from zero, and at this point I am building basically my first major Django application using Django, Python in the back end, React and JavaScript in the front end, and with the goal to turn this in as my final project for Harvard's CS50 web course. So again, they have multiple courses. They're more advanced full stack web development course. Is CS50 web, and that's what I'm turning in now. And I'm also hoping that to get some users for this app as well. So I'm trying to, on the one hand, submit this as a final homework, while at the same time actually publishing this app and trying to get some users, trying to get some feedback, just trying to publish my first app. Basically what I did here is that I designed the whole application even before I started coding. And I designed all the pages that I'm going to be building. So I recommend you do the same thing if you're working on a big project like this. I mean, this is probably the biggest project I've ever worked on. And it really helps to nail down what it is that you're building before you build it, instead of trying to come up with new ideas on the go as you code. I feel like when you put things down and you sort of close what the product it is that you're building, it helps you stay away from building irrelevant things, and it helps you focus on exactly what you need to build, get it done, and get out. So at this point, I've already finished one of the features for the app, which is this feedback. We can look at it later, or you can take a look at the other live streams here, but there's this feedback feature for the app, which has been completed. And now I'm working on this support feature, which is basically just like the customer support for the users. So it'll display some tutorials and like how to use the app, how to get basic things done in the app. And it'll also have a way for people to submit a new ticket. And this is just a template, but a new ticket will just be like a form, a custom form. I will design it. It will have different fields other than this. And also give people an option, if they already have open service tickets, to see here, like the status of whatever they submitted. Also give them an option to submit anything additional. And I also want to have something similar for like an admin, or someone who works at the app. At the moment, it's just myself, to see all the open tickets and be able to communicate with people via the interface here. So let's get right into it. I've already started coding some of this. I did get a bunch of errors before, so I got to figure out, I got to resolve that before moving forward. So here's my VS Code. Here's what I got so far in terms of this support. I'm going to call it an application. The way it works in Django is that you have a big Django project, and inside of it you have multiple smaller applications. And so for this feature here for feedback, that's basically called the feedback application. And now I initiated a support application, and it really does work like you initiate things, and it gives you a new folder, it gives you new dependencies, it gives you new models. So that's sort of what we're looking at over here. And basically I believe I already added this to my like after initiating everything, I added it to my settings file, and then from my settings file I added my URLs over there, I believe. Let me just make sure that I actually did that. Hold on. So I have here the teleport. So the teleport, that's like the main project where my settings file lives. But before I get into this, I'm just noticing they have like a secret key in here, which I have to change. Apparently, it's not good practice to hard code your secret keys into your actual code. There's a better way of doing it, and I only found this out recently. Before I continue here, yesterday I went to my first Django meetup. It just turns out that my local Python club, or however you want to call it, they were hosting their a meeting in a fairly nice place. Yeah, I have some footage here. I'm just editing. I'm editing a video about it right now, and I will I'll put it in the channel as soon as it's ready. But basically, I went to this office here, and it was really nice. These are all like industry professionals in the area. The offices where the meeting was held is like some bank, some like online bank, and they developed their whole project on Django. Their whole service is based on Django APIs. These are actually all of their like back-end engineers. They had this lady here who's like their senior developer, who's like a Django specialist, and see, she was explaining how where is it? Yeah, she was explaining how there's a better way to set up your Django settings other than the actual settings file, which is what we're looking at. Where is it? Right here. So this is my settings.py. So she's actually using a plug there in the company. They're using a plugin to manage these settings, and there's a bunch of reasons why. I managed to understand about 50% of what she said, which on the one hand, I was very proud of myself because, again, guys, I have zero background in any of this stuff. I literally learned all this stuff on my own through Harvard, and there I am in in like this huge office tower. Let me see if I have a picture of it. Yeah, like one of these big towers here, and like the 30th floor at a bank, and I managed to understand half of what they were saying, which was pretty cool. And at the same time, it was a bit of a reality check for me to understand like what else I need to learn, and like definitely like what the standard is for professional work, to become like a developer at one of these companies, which I still feel like I have some way to go there. Like I have a lot to learn still, but it's not that far away. So definitely feel like this Harvard courses definitely get you up to that place where you could totally get an internship in one of these companies. That was just my take on it. So going back to the Django settings here, I just want to make sure that I've actually installed. So I have my support app installed here. And I think that's pretty much it. And then I have my my support path also here, feedback URLs, and I believe this is the issue here. So I'm including I'm actually have a typo here. I shouldn't be including feedback URLs. I need to be including support URLs. Let's reload here. And then I have no such column, users teleport user, Zoom access token. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete that. That's actually part of what I learned yesterday in the Django meeting. Our access tokens, so are like our secret keys. We shouldn't store. There's a very specific way to store that. So I'm actually going to go ahead back in here in my models and delete that for now. I believe that was in my user model. So I have this separate app, which is users. It's just handling all my user stuff. And in the models here, I have like these classes where I'm planning on storing their like the secret keys for the users. I'm gonna just comment this out of there for now, and then maybe revisit that whenever it becomes relevant again. So let's reload this now. I'm getting a weird error here. Hold on. Operational error. Yeah, I was working on something else, and then I sort of started messing with all this stuff here, and now it's not working out. So request.user.username. Random request teleport index. Not really sure. I mean, I just commented this stuff out of there. Let me see if I have anywhere else models. No. So that was in the users. I mean, I think we should be good to go now. Let me see. Feedback like. Yeah, so we have been working on that before in the previous streams. Let's try that again. Python manage. I don't know if this will actually do anything, but we can always try. Run server. So it's running. It says it doesn't have any issues. No such column. Users of teleport users zoom access token. Hold on. Maybe it's in my URLs. I don't know. I mean, in my views of support. No. Yeah, so I have support installed already. And I have all the logic here for something else. It's a different app. Support and URLs. Support.urls. I am including the correct thing here. Support.urls. Yeah, I think this is correct. And I don't know what this CS50w does. Actually, I do know. It's that's cool. It gives you the duck inside of VS Code. I guess it saves you a minute. Feedback, models, py. I don't have anything in there. The models for the users. I mean, I took this out. Oh, here. I gotta just. I'm gonna. So the thing was that I added these to the models, but I didn't actually merge it into the database. So I actually don't even know if in the end, I want to even do that. So I'm just going to comment these out later when I go ahead and connect all these APIs. It should work out. I'll take care of it then. And hello world. So we good now. Yeah, so we're kind of good now. So I did hello world this thing here for tutorials and support. So that's like whatever we're going to be working on now, but it's showing up. So I'm clicking on both of these links here and it shouldn't do that. It should only show up for the eye, not for the flag. The flag is the other feature that we finished building last week. So let's go and figure out how we can fix that up quickly. So it should be that in our URLs for feedback, it should load feedback index. And then let's take a look at the URLs for support. Right, so it should load, hold on, it should load support of index. Hold on, this is the issue, I believe. So URLs, so we have views.index on both cases. Let me know in the comments if you know why it's showing. It might be a problem with the name. I don't know. Like, let's just call this support. This might be the issue. I don't really know, but I'll try it. Support index. So there might be a conflict between like the way I named the views here between both apps. So support index. So this will just load feedback index. Views.feedback index. And this will load views.support. So again, whenever I load /support, it'll load this view called support index, which is what I have here on my support views. So support index. Let's take a look quickly at the views for the feedback app. Yeah, here, the views. So let's call this support, or I think it was feedback underscore index. And that's what I should be loading in my feedback URLs. That's correct. So let's reload this. And that doesn't solve it. So I'm actually going to go back because I don't really care. I don't actually like naming things like that. I realize I have a different problem here. It's not that. The problem is it seems to be from the actual link. So the URLs for support and feedback, I went back to views.index, and then in my views, I'm going to go back to just index, because I think it actually just loads the correct one, because those URL files are inside of the folder where that it's just loading whatever view is in the same folder, in the same views.py file inside of the same folder. So you'll see here in the support here, this URLs file over here loads whatever's in the views, because it's in the same, it's all in the same folder. So that's correct. I think my problem is actually coming from the actual link. So if I go into if I just type in feedback up here, you see that it loads correctly. And this is the feature that we built last week, which just gives me the opportunity to suggest a feature to the developer. Hey, I want to see this feature in your app, and other users can upvote that. And then me as a developer, I can just work on whatever has the most upvotes, whatever has the most comments, whatever makes the most sense that people want, instead of just coming up with random ideas and random features that people don't actually want or need. So that's the idea behind all this. And you can up-like, you can unlike, whatever. We spent a whole 2 weeks working on this, and it works fine now. So because it loads and yeah, because this is all working fine, but the links are not working. So the problem is actually coming from the links here. So let's look at the code that's handling our menu here. And by the way, this menu is responsive. So if I close this window, I'm doing all this just via plain old, I think it's CSS that I'm doing this with. Very simple CSS. And you'll see it works just fine. This will look just fine on a phone. It doesn't take off. It's not a light. I mean, it's very simple. I really like this type of, I really in general like simple web design. Like I feel like if you have good logic, an easy way to, and your app is easy to use, it doesn't really matter your design, as long as it's just basic and it makes sense. You don't really need to spend too much time on perfect design. You should really perfect basically how your solution fits into the problem that the users have. That's really the essence of everything. So let's go back here and edit our menu, and we should be good to go. So I'm actually starting, this is all a set of templates. The way Django works is like, there's like this layer, there's like this template layer where you have like the entire page becomes one template, and then you can subdivide that. So I have like one template just for the outside here, and then for the lighter gray, it's another template. And then inside of that other template, I have my JavaScript code, or specifically my React. It's all running React, which controls everything else. So whenever I'm actually using the app and loading things, the only thing that's changing is the very inside, basically what you see, the logic that you see here. Everything else does not load. It's just always there. I mean, it loads once and that's it. So that actually saves a lot of space. I guess that saves bandwidth on your server. So let's quickly find that. So I am saving that here in my where is it? I'm saving that. Sorry, I gotta find it. It's inside of my, I think it's inside of my teleport app, templates. So yeah, you'll see here I've divided this in a few ways. I have a different ones whether the user is logged in or not, because if you're logged in, you're gonna see a different, you're gonna see the option to log in, right? If you're not logged in, sorry. And if you're logged in, you're gonna see all you're gonna actually have access to the actual app. So it's two different things. Here in my logged in, I have this random code here. You'll see in a second. So yeah, this is what the template looks like. It's all HTML, mostly HTML, with the exception of these tags up here, which are Django specific tags. Even though Jinja, even though the framework that the main CS50 course uses is Flask, which is a simpler framework from Django. It's very similar to Django, but it's a lot simpler. So they use similar notation like this to do certain things. So here we're using these notations in Django to load our static, meaning load all of our CSS and previous JavaScript if you have some. So I'm using that to actually load my Bootstrap stuff. Although I see here that I'm loading it again. So maybe I'm actually loading something else up there. I'm not sure right now. I don't remember right now, but it's loading something. And then we use a similar tags to kind of declare where our body should go. And then we're able to pull these tags in a different file and manipulate that directly using a separate HTML template. So that's what we're doing here. And I'm declaring here my whole site navigation. So I'm going to find where this flag is. And you see all these random numbers. This is actually how I'm building or how I'm displaying these icons. So it's not a JPEG file. It's not an image file. It's straight up. I don't even know what it's called, an SVG. And the site, the browser is actually rendering that, like drawing it out, live basically. So yeah, let's go up here. I see that I have here a couple things. I have help. My help is all sitting inside of this href, which is empty. So I gotta fill that in. I'm gonna take a look at my feedback. So you see my feedback link here has an href of something that looks like this. And again, this is a tag that Django is giving me. So I don't have to hard code in there what the URL of that particular application is. I can just href it by name and let Django figure out the URL. Let me know in the comments if you know why. I'll give you a second. I don't see anybody's answering. The reason why is that you don't want to hard code. You don't want to hard code your links. You want Django to dynamically figure them out. Why? Because if you change something and the link changes, or you even if you publish this app to your from your local server, or from your, I'm really running it on a local machine here. If you want to publish that onto AWS or Google Cloud or whatever you're using, what was the other one? I forgot. Heroku, something like that. That's the one CS50 uses, which I don't think I'm going to use that one. I'd rather use AWS just because it's a good skill to have. So if you were to publish your app onto an actual server and give it an actual domain and whatnot, you would have to go in and change every single link. That would take forever. You're probably not going to succeed doing that. You're gonna end up with a bunch of bugs that you won't even know about. So the better way of doing it is to href it by name and let Django figure it out. So the URL support index, where am I declaring this? I'm actually declaring this in my URL file for support. So if I go into support URLs here, you'll see that I'm giving it a name. So I can just call it, I can just href it by this name, and it'll figure out that it has to direct all traffic there to my views of index. And that's it. It's very simple. So let's go back onto the, just the template, and I'm going to copy paste this. So this is again going to my support index. I'm going to go down for a second. And I realized that that's the wrong place, because in my feedback, I want it to go to my feedback index. So I'm just going to rename this to feedback index. And before I call it a day, I just want to make sure that I do have that set up. So if I go to my feedback app and I go to URLs, you'll see that I named it feedback index. So that's correct. It's linking to the correct place. My feedback index is the link for feedback. That's actually correct. And the one for support, and obviously logout points to the logout view and whatnot. And then my help should go to support. So that's where I get a plug in here. So my href up here has to be support index. I think that's the correct thing here. And let's one more time take a look at my URLs for support. And I am calling it support English. So it should work now. Let's reload it. And if I click on if I click on the I, which is the help, it goes to support. If I click on feedback, it's going to the feedback route. It's correct now. Everything seems to be working well. So we actually managed, what did we just do? We managed to install a new application inside of our Django project. And we also managed to make sure that the navigation works correctly. Now we're ready to start working on the actual on the actual app, right? On the actual support app. So let's get right into it. I'm going to go back into my Figma here. If you guys don't know what Figma is, it's basically just a tool that I'm using here to do my UX and UI design. There's very advanced ways to use this. I have a friend who works as a UI UX designer for a big company in San Francisco. There's definitely you can make a career out of just doing Figma is what I'm trying to say. I don't know. I only know about 20% of the features from this program, but it's very helpful to just plan out what exactly you're building and then go ahead and build it instead of building on the fly. And I believe not too many people are saying that. I've definitely seen many people online saying that, no, forget about design, just build on the go, save time. It could be that you're saving time because you're not like drawing it out and then building it, but in the long run you're wasting a ton of time because you're going to end up building things that you don't need. This is what we need to work on now. And the way that I'm going to do this is I want to again, whenever I'm displaying this here, this hello world is not actually HTML. This is all in React. And what I want to do is I want to have multiple menu options. As you can see here, I have multiple menu options. And from those multiple menu options, I want to display different things. So how do we actually go about doing that? There's multiple ways. One way is to load everything when you request that web page and it comes back to you. You can just load everything and save it in the browser, and then as you click around, it hides the current view and it unhides whatever you clicked on. That's definitely one way of doing it. I might do it like that. I don't really know yet. Another way of doing it is every time you click, it sends like an API request to the server, and it comes back and it gives you the HTML. The way I've done such a thing in the past is to actually store the contents of that HTML as an MD file, and then the MD file gets converted into HTML on the way in. That's another way of doing it. There's libraries that allow you to do that. I have done that. I did that for a customer that just wanted a website with like very simple JavaScript functionality for handling user passwords, not even user accounts. He just wanted to lock certain pages and ask for a password to be able to see the page. Very simple. And each page, I just stored it as a separate MD file. That's the way that that's the way I built a website on Django, which is total overkill, but I only know Django, or I was not only know Django. I mean, I could build on WordPress, I can build on Flask, but at the time, if somebody was to ask me to build them a Django website, or sorry, if somebody came to ask me to just build them a website, I would just build it on Django because it's what I'm working on every day. It's what I'm fresh on. I appreciate the practice. I appreciate getting paid to practice. So I would just go ahead and do it like that. So maybe that's what we'll do. Maybe we'll store these things as a MD file, or maybe we'll just hard code everything into one server return and just use React to handle everything, or maybe just write everything on React. Maybe that's the way to go for it. Maybe I'll just write all this HTML as JavaScript in React. And whenever someone clicks on these menu options, it'll unhide wherever they're, undoing. Like the default will always be the first option. If I click on the third option, it'll hide the first one and do whatever. So that's maybe what we should do here. And so how would we go about doing this? Let's go back into our code here. And I'm going to get rid of a lot of stuff. So the URLs, we don't really need that anymore. This is all going to be one URL. I'm not going to be adding more URLs to this. Maybe actually I will make the support a separate URL maybe. And I might take it off of this. I probably will take it off of this menu. So the menu will really be only 4 options. And then the support will be a separate button. Very obvious. Like maybe we'll do it right now real quick. I do have here... yeah, let's just copy paste this button here. And paste it in there. It's not letting me. I'm not really sure why. Yeah. Maybe we'll even change it colors so it's more obvious. Maybe even like, I don't know, like this or like that. We'll fine tune it. Also, we're running Bootstrap here, so it's not going to look exactly how we design things here, because I'm basically taking this design and using it just as a wireframe, and running with it as I'm building the bootstrap. So I'm doing the best of both worlds. Actually, I'm actually just not really designing the user interface. I'm only doing the user experience. In the interface, I'm just using whatever Bootstrap is giving me by default. I think I'm saving about 90% of the time, as opposed to if I were to actually try to make my actual Django implementation identical to what's on Figma here. If I were actually trying to make things pixel by pixel perfect, it would take me so much more time for basically the same amount of, the same type of, it just wouldn't make any sense. Basically, is what I'm trying to say. So basically I would just fly with this in a minute, but just for now, we'll do this. Contact support, something along these lines, even though I would probably want this on the right. Contact support. Yeah, so I'm going to take this one out, but basically I'm going to take this one out. Okay, so these are the only options I'm going to have. Yeah, like that. And then this contact support, I would just put that to the right. I just don't know how to do that in Figma right now. Maybe position like that. No, that's not it. I have no idea how to put this to the right, but it would just go over here. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. This is crazy. Let me know if you guys know how to do this. I actually don't know. Oh, maybe because of this. This should go over here. That's the idea. And then I'll just have this as a separate route. So let's just go ahead and code that in, because then after that, I really won't have to look at it again. So that's I already did it. So here's contact. So I only have 2 routes for my support app. I just have the main thing with all the information, and a separate route with the contact form, which is this page over here with my actual contact form. I might get rid of this as well for this contact form, just have it like this, and then just take this out as well. Okay, so I want to make it very obvious what they're looking at. This is a page where you just do that. You just fill in your service ticket, and we'll get back to you ASAP. And I don't understand. Yeah, so something like this. I might also have just a button that goes back to fax or back to info. Yeah, so I might just have something like that, which just says back to FAQs or tutorials. Yeah, so, and like with a little arrow here, even like that. We'll have it like that. So back to tutorials. And because you're going back, I would do this like over here. And again, I'm not an expert in UI. I'm just kind of running just my intuition. So yeah. So the actual tutorials page, again, this should be on the right, to the right. Yeah, like that. So that's basically more or less what we're looking to build. We have this tutorial and support, whatever, very interactive with all this information. To the right, contact support. I might even make that big. I want to make it very obvious for users to find it. But I am sort of hiding it. You have to kind of first go through the tutorials to be able to to see it. I'm hoping to to filter out just tickets that people could just solve by themselves just by looking at a tutorial. That's the goal. And then once they, if they click over here, contact support, they will reach this page here, which will say open a ticket, whatever, and it will still give them a button to go back to the tutorials. And that's it. So total of 2 routes. Maybe even 3 routes. I'm not sure. No. 2 routes. Okay. So this and this, we're good to go. It'll be views.contact, so we can close our URLs. We can close out of our menu. We don't need that. So we have the 2 routes here. We are good to go. So let's go ahead and start building this thing. We can kind of close out Figma for now. And Again, I would start here. We can close our models. We don't need that. We don't need our models for now. We don't need these URLs. We don't need our settings. We don't need our URLs again. So we have index of support. And so here we have basically the main React code. I would start building it from the bottom here. So our main React window is all the gray stuff that you see here. And it's basically rendering this hello world. And so I would say up here, I would just want to return. I don't even want to return a component. I just want to go ahead and return a button. So I'll do a new div up here. And here we can just go ahead and type a button. And I'm not going to complicate things. I'm just going to go ahead and copy paste from Bootstrap. You almost already had it open, you see. So in my I'm literally just going to copy paste this here, button primary, and put that in that div. And as with everything, you want to reload and see it actually works, and it does not work. So it looks like I actually have to put that inside of a component. So let's do that. Yeah, so that's what's going on here. Not a lot to put just straight up divs in here. You have to actually just display components. Feedback layout. So maybe it's just because it's not in there. Let's one last time before I try to make a component. Let's just put it in there and go back a little, reload, and it actually works. So fine. So you are allowed to do whatever. I want to just put this to the right and rename it. So open service ticket. Okay. So open service ticket. It'll be very obvious, I hope, to people looking at that. And I might even make it red. We'll see. I do want to like align this to the right. So I'm just going to open also my CS50w. Log in. Yeah, so how do I align the button to the right of the screen? How do I align the button to the right? Okay, so I'm just going to add text align. So he's telling me to add here a CSS rule with, let me see, with Bootstrap. Maybe there's an easier way of just adding a little bit of class name there. Deflex. Yeah, so I'll just add these classes to it. Yeah, beautiful. So I'm just going to add this class to the upper div. I mean, I try to get away with as much Bootstrap as I can instead of having to code into it, instead of having to go in there and start adding my own custom CSS. Even though I do have a couple of custom CSS with a bunch of lines of code, but still, even though I'm trying to stay away from it, I'm still ending up with like a ton of code over there. So I think it's in the div here. Let's see if it actually works. If not, it has to be a class name. Yeah, so it works. I believe it works because I'm not actually inside of a... It's not actually inside... The code, the class is not actually inside of a React component. If it was inside of a React component, you would have to change that to class name. But for now, it works. And let's see if it's responsive. And you'll see here, it's not at the moment, but we will make it responsive in a second. Like from here to there, it works great. Right, and the reason it's coming out like this is because down here in our feedback, we're having that functionality where it does that. Basically, it's dividing it into two. So that's why it's called feedback layout. I will go ahead now and edit that because I don't need that feedback layout anymore. And again, I'm in the support app here. So maybe I'll just start by taking out that class and see if I need a class, if at all. Maybe I won't even need a class, but you'll see my feedback. It still has that behavior. We have two divs next to each other. And in my help here, I don't have that anymore. So it worked great. I don't like that it's so far away to the right. Like, you might not see that. But that's okay, I guess, for now. Most people, I guess, are using it. I mean, it's kind of obvious. You do see it. It's right there. Open service ticket. Let's go ahead and hard code into it already the, what's it called? The link to that. So in order to do that, open service ticket. And again, I'm not using React for any other stuff. For this button specifically, I'm just using straight up HTML. I think do I need to add an href here? Let me see, hold on. Button target. How do I add how do I add the URL to the button? How to add URL to button. I just add an A, really? No, to this button. To this button. Forget about it. I'm gonna go ahead and just add it as a separate React component, even though I was trying to stay away from that, but that doesn't make any sense because I still need to add a target to it, and I guess the easiest way would just be to use JavaScript. Function, like, let me try doing it with just an A. I believe if I just do an href, let me see here. If I just do, right, if I use A of href, it might look weird. I don't know. Like, it might change colors. Anyhow, let's just do it like with, yeah, let's just do it as a component. I'm going to put it at the top. I like to write my components in the JavaScript logic here in the same order as I'm displaying them in the window. That way it makes a little bit more sense. If I have to work on it if I have to work on it months or weeks down the road, it'll be easier to understand what I did here, or if I need to bring someone else in here. So that's gonna be on the top here, and I don't really need these comments, so it actually goes up here. It'll be function, and then I'm just gonna call it like open, like new ticket. I'm just gonna call it new ticket. It doesn't take in any input, and at the moment it's returning, right? It's just going to return that div that we wrote over there. So we'll just copy paste that. It'll just be all of this. Yeah, so it actually is returning two divs. So it's returning a div which is invisible right now, but it's the full width here. And then inside of that div, it has another one which contains the button. That's the right way of doing things. I'm going to copy everything and put it in there and justify things nicely so, you know, it looks better next time I look at it. Oh, let's see again. Oh, no. Yeah, okay. This looks okay, and that's what I'm returning there. So we'll delete it from up here, from down here, sorry, right? And we just return new ticket. Let's see if it still works. No, hold on. I have a typo here. I actually don't know if I need that other div, actually. I might need it because it was below hello world. So let's just put it in there. Why is it not working? Let's go up, new ticket. Something is wrong here. Hold on, this shouldn't be like that. No. What did I forget here? No, I have a typo here. Hold on, somewhere. Keep going back here. Keep going back. Okay, here it's working again. Yeah, so inside of that return, I can return this div here. Yeah, it's still working. And I do need class name now because I'm inside of a component. And also here, class name. That's just a very specific React thing. And I can now go ahead and delete these. And now I can display my, whatever I call this. I'm just going to copy paste it, my new ticket. And that'll go up here like that. Let's see if it works now. Yeah. So obviously the button doesn't do anything yet, but we'll figure that out. And this works just fine, I guess. And, you know, why not? Let's give it a, let's take out the class name of feedback form. Actually, I'm not sure I need to take that out now. Feedback form. Yeah, I don't think I need that class in there, actually. For now, I mean. Let's reload. Yeah, I don't need that over there. But my service ticket should have a margin on the bottom of it. So we'll do here M2, MB2. So that'll be margin button of 2 levels. And let's reload. So now I move down a little bit. Let's see if it looks better. I would do MB4 even. Let's try that. MB4. Reload. Beautiful. So that's what we need. I think it's gonna work no matter how you look at it, meaning like whether you're looking at it on a computer or on a phone. We're keeping it fairly simple, I guess. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue here and see what else we need to put in there. So we're going back to the design for a second. So we are going to need, I guess, a title, obviously. So let's just go ahead. It's an easy fix. We'll update the title here. And so that'll be over here. Right? Tutorials and support. And afterwards, I want to get this menu thing here. So I believe Bootstrap gives us something similar to that. Let's take a look. I think they call it a carousel, maybe. I'm not sure. Let's see here. So we have layout. We have content, forms, components here. Components. Let's see accordion. No, so accordion gives you this type of functionality. That's not what we're looking for necessarily. Or maybe it is. Maybe we should just put everything like that. Maybe that's a cool way of doing things. What do you think? Carousel? No, carousel does this sort of thing. Let me know in the comments if you know what this is called. Navs, maybe? Modals. Not really sure what these are. List groups. No. Collapse. Yeah, I don't really know. Vertical rule. No. Stacks, no. Placeholders, maybe placeholders. No, it's just like cards or something. Let me see here. This, I would quit here and just do something else, but I feel like I've seen it before. Like I've actually seen this before. Carousel. Is that a card maybe? No. Accordion. Maybe it's an accordion? It's not an accordion. List groups? No. Nav bar. That's just what it says it is. Oh, navs and tabs. Maybe that's what it is. Let me see here. Tabs here. This is, I think, what we're looking for. No. That's not what we're looking for. Off canvas. Popovers. Oh, that's cool. That's all it does. Okay. Spinners. Tooltips. Tooltips, file input CSS. Ooh, menus, is it maybe? Menus? Components. Yeah, I feel like I'm getting stuck here again on this like design thing here. So let's just use whatever shows up here. I'm gonna go ahead and take what was it? Navbar? Was it the navbar? Collapse. No, where was it? Carousel. Was it carousel? Basic examples. I know these are just for pictures though. I don't need that. Cards. No. Button group. Oh, here, button group. I think that's what it was. Badge. Alerts. Accordion. I'm probably just going to use the accordion. Yeah, let's just use the accordion here and flush. I'm going to copy all this code and see how it looks like. Copy. Paste it into. So that's what's going to replace my hello world. I'm actually not going to replace hello world. We'll leave that as is, and then we'll do a new function here. Function of let's call it just info. Okay, and we do it like that, and we'll add it down here as well, so it'll be info over here. Okay, and here we return something. Okay, and we're going to return all that code that we just copied. Now, yeah, that might be the right way of doing it. Yeah, it looks nice. And let's reload and see what we actually put in there. And we see that now this stuff works. So it could be that I'm missing, I don't know, some library or something. Example click. All right, so right off the bat, I know I'm missing my class names because, right, we got to convert that. It could be there is a way to replace every single one of them like that. Let me see here. Change all occurrences into class name. And that actually gave me a bunch of errors at the top here, so we'll delete that. Class name, okay. Let's take a look. So it's not actually doing anything. And it looks very different from here, from this. It uses collapse. And what is collapse? Some type of thing here. Horizontal. Do I need to import this or are we good to go? I'm not understanding. Introduction. I do have my, yeah, my JS and my CSS. I do think I imported that somewhere here. So if I go into my, if I go here into my, what is it, templates? Hold on. Yeah, in my templates for everything, which is up here, logged in, I am definitely importing my CSS and my JS. So it should be good to go. It could be that I need to reload that. So I actually need to go ahead and maybe, I'm not sure, but it could be that I need to here load static, which I am. Okay, so let's reload this. And you see it doesn't work. How to add a collapsible accordion. It's giving me a bunch of code. Let's see if it's going to tell me whether do I need to import any additional libraries other than, let's see. I did that already. Okay. Very nice. Let's reload here again. And it's still not working, and I'm not exactly 100% sure why. Yeah, so Manuk is asking about the coding certificates for... Is there any other coding certificate which is free? I don't know. I really don't know. I know Facebook has one, has a course, you know, for React. I'm assuming it's for React. I'm not really sure. Let me take a look. Facebook coding course. Let's take a look here. What do they actually teach here? I want to... No. Not sure what they're offering here, honestly. This is some type of group here. I don't really know. What exactly are they offering there? Oh, is that what this is? Front end, back end developer. This looks legit. Let's see. Front end. What do they actually teach? Like, oh, here. So I don't know. This looks very similar to what hardware is offering. They're teaching React in the front end and Python in the back end, which I'm assuming is Django. So you're basically looking at the same thing. So just go with the hardware one. And it's hosted on Coursera, so meaning I very much doubt it that you can get that for free. The only reason that you can get the Harvard certificate for free is because in addition to hosting a course in EDX, they're also hosting it on their own, right? They're hosting it here, CS50w. So you can just go here, and this is their personal website, where after finishing everything and after your grades are updated on the server there, wait, you can go ahead and click here on where is it? Here, CS50 certificate. It'll print out for you something like this. You just have to go through the instructions. So I would just do that. Unless you want to do something specific, like you want to learn Kotlin. Okay, fine, I understand. You want to learn Kotlin. That's cool. Or Swift. But if you just want to do web full stack development, then just stick with Harvard. Okay, so I'm noticing I'm getting fairly stuck here. Seems like we made some progress today, but usually this is the way the live stream goes. We make progress and then we get stuck. So I'm going to leave it here for now. We'll pick it up in the next coding session. In the meantime, thank you for joining, and just continue working your way up through your coding journey. If I was able to, then you guys are also able to, like just the average guy. And all of a sudden I can code full stack. It didn't happen all of a sudden. It took me a couple of years, but really it seems like it was all of a sudden. I'm able to code full stack applications. I'm able to put out content for you guys to become inspired, hopefully learn something. I just recently started, yesterday I went to my first Python meetup. I'm starting to become part of the community and the local Python community. So yeah, things are happening, and I wish you all, just continue with your slow, steady progress. Keep growing, keep learning, and we'll see you in the next coding session.